Hi everyone, it's Tonya Gibbs and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you a art journal tutorial. This is an Yvonne Blair Art Girls project. This is the project that we are going to complete today, and I hope you can stick around for the end of the video. It will be a process video. Today we're going to feature these lovely products from Yvonne Blair. This is one of her custom stamps, In the Waves of Change, Find Your True Direction and Follow Your True North. We're also going to use her journal buddy as well as her 4x8 journal, and we are also going to be featuring these products from Lindy Stamp Gang: Tilt-A-Wheel Teal Flat Fabio under the Boardwalk collection, C'est La Vie Cerise Flat Fabio from the Trace Chic collection, the Sidewalk Chalk Flat Fabio from Neon Graffiti collection, and the Pearlescents Glitz Spritz. All of these wonderful products are going to be linked up in a blog post that will be linked in the description box down below. So click the show more in the description box to find links to these products and the blog post that has high resolution images for you guys to see more details of the photos. So to begin with, I am opening up my journal here to the first available page, and I'm adding a nice coat of gel medium, and then I'm also going to prep the back of my map here with gel medium, and then I am going to place it down onto the page and centered on the page. Now this map I printed from the internet, and I found one from a local area. I live in Florida, so this is a coastal map off the coast of Florida, and I've printed it from a laser printer so it will not bleed as I'm adding gel medium over the top. Now the reason I'm adding gel medium to the back of the paper as well as the front of the paper is to keep it from bubbling and to give it a really nice coverage and make sure it's really good and crisp when I'm adding it. It'll keep it from wrinkling and bubbling. I'm using a popsicle stick. You could use a bone folder to really spread that out and get all the air bubbles out. I want it to be nice and wet on both sides, and then I want to make sure it's good and sealed and dry before I flip it over and trim off all of the excess with an Xacto knife. Once I get all of those edges cleared away and I have everything all dry and I'm ready to begin my next project. So I'm going to go ahead and paint over this and tone it down just a little bit, send all of those mapped images to the background by putting a coat of thin gesso over the top. Again, I want to make sure this is really good and dry. I've added a little bit of wax paper to both sides of this to keep these sprays from soaking into the other pages on my book. I'm starting with the Tilt-A-Wheel Teal, and that's from the Boardwalk collection, and I'm just splattering these very irregular. I want them to kind of splatter and splot. I've also got a little bit of sponge there to kind of help encourage it to do its thing, and then I splattered a little bit of the C'est La Vie, and then I've blotted it around, kind of got that nice oceany feel to it, splattered around a little bit of that Sidewalk chalk, and now I'm going to seal over the top of it with a little bit of the matte medium, just kind of sealing it on top because these are all watercolor mediums and I don't want them to move again once I have them in place. So once I've got the desired look I want and everything is kind of got that really nice deep ocean look, I'm going to seal that up really well and then heat set that so that I've got a really nice good depth of field. Now it's hard to tell in the video, but you can still see the map through these mediums. That's one of the reasons I chose these as my color background instead of acrylic paint, because I still wanted to have that translucency so that I could see my map below. And when you see the close-up photos, you'll still be able to see that. Now I've sketched out a sailboat here in the center. I wanted my sailboat to sort of be in the center of my design here, a little bit off skew, but somewhat in the center. I'm using some red acrylic paint from Liquitex. This is the basics, and I am kind of freehand drawing the base of my boat. It's going to be a little bit of a rough sketch. I sketched it out with a pencil to just give myself a little guide, if you will. It's hard to see in video, the sketch, but it was also very hard to write over the matte medium. So, but I can kind of tell where the boat sort of should be. Again, this doesn't have to be exact. This is sort of just for myself and my own eye. I'm going to use my Journal Buddy as a guide here. It's nice that it's a ruler to give me a nice straight edge for my sail. And then I'm going to freehand the roundness of the sail, and then use my paintbrush to paint in my sails. I love that my hand is a little bit shaky because it does give a little bit of a texture to my sails, and gives them that look as if the wind is making them flap. I like that effect. I will say that the video, I had some technical difficulty and some pieces didn't record, so I'll try and talk you through what I missed out on. I'm using a gel pen to add some little touches of detail to the base of my boat. The lettering, instead of adding true forms of the letters, I'm figuring I just want dots to kind of give you the perspective of letters. So the paint wasn't quite dry yet. I just put the line where the crease of the boat would be at the tip, at the very bow of the boat. And then I'm going to come back and just form some little dots where the lettering or the call sign of the boat would be there at the very front. And then I'm also using a black gel pen to just put like a little line of shadow there across the top and the back of the boat. So that's what that is. Now this pen is a Uniball pen. It's the 207 Impact, and it's waterproof. So I love to use that. So it won't smear, and it's completely permanent. And I'm drawing those shadows across the bottom, and this is the wood piece that, I don't know the technical sailing terms for sailboats, but these are the wood pieces that go across the bottom of the sails. So I find that I do much better with the pens than I would with I have a little more control than I would if I'd pulled out black paint and tried to do this. So if you find that you're challenged with a paintbrush and some of these smaller details, try using your pens to do this kind of work. Then I've placed a little bit of blue there on with a paint pen on my palette, and I'm using my finger to just add in some shadows around my sails. I am the sloppiest painter on the planet, and most artists would probably be cringing at this point. If you are a true artist, I apologize now, because I am a very sloppy painter. So you'll see my paintbrush rolling around in the paint. Please forgive me. Please, please forgive me. So now I'm going to use my Journal Buddy to create some faux waves. I want chaos in this photo. I really do. I want those waves to be chopping and coming from all directions, as if my boat has found itself in the middle of a storm. And it's just free floating across my page. I've spritzed a little bit of that Lindy stamp gang. This is, I used the green color, which is the C'est La Vie Cerise. And I've added that to that white paint just to kind of give it a little bit more of a turquoise tone. And then now, and it also kind of breaks up some of that full-bodied paint and makes it really loose, so I can splatter it all around. So that's what you see me doing. One of the things that did not record was I took that blue paint pen and I added some details to my sail, like the numbers and the lines that you see, that really gave it a nice depth. I'm sorry that it didn't record. Sometimes things happen, but now I'm also going to just splatter some of that Lindy stamp gang around, and that's going to give the splashed effect as if this boat has really landed itself into a really nice storm, and you can really see that the waves are just kind of coming up from all over the place. I want that to dry splattered, so I'm allowing the heat gun to really, as the heat gun dries those splatters, it gives them a really neat effect. So now I've pulled out a stencil from the Crafter's Workshop. This is the 6x6 mini Specimens stencil. I did not have any stencil that had a compass on it, which was really the effect I was going for. So I think it's important when you're doing these art journals, instead of running out and buying something that's perfect, let's look at what we have and try and make it work. So by taking this stencil, which had this like circular pattern to it, and combining it with another stencil, I was able to get the effect that I was looking for. I've taken some black acrylic paint and added it with a Cosmetic Sponge. I've added this pattern that kind of had a nautical feel to it, and then I had this stencil from Holtz that had arrows, and I was trying to find an arrow that looked more like a compass arrow, and I'm going to add it to the center of all of this black and use the base of the arrow to put in an N so that I can find my true north. And I like that I could combine a couple of different stencils to get the look I'm after, because I think that as artists, that's exactly what we do, is we combine techniques and we combine all of our talents, and we make things from nothing. So I really like that I was able to reach into my supplies and combine a couple of different things to make what I was looking for. For those of you who are new to my channel, I do like symmetry. If I do something to the left, I typically try to do it again to the right. You will also notice that I like to follow the rules of thirds. So notice that my sailboat, while I started out planting part of my sailboat in the center of my layout, it does occupy a third of the composition instead of occupying half of the composition. So you know, I think we can use all things in a proper form to create a great composition. So I've taken my stamp and I've stamped it several times, and the reason is because I want to break it apart and use it on my layout, but because it was so tightly typed together on the stamp, I was having trouble cutting the words without cutting into other words. So by duplicating it that way, I was able to take it in the other stamped forms and break it apart easily. So I've taken it and cut it apart to use on the negative spaces of the layout, and because it was I stamped it with the Archival ink so that it would not smear as I was adding the gel medium to it. And then before it has a chance to dry with the gel medium on top, I'm also applying this Lindy stamp gang to the top so that it actually looks like it belongs on this layout. And I'm going to continue, you know, rubbing that Lindy stamp gang in with my finger so it gives it that nice color that matches my background. But then I'm going to also follow through with a few splatters so it actually looks like it was painted into the background, not just placed on top of the background. It's very important that my title actually looks like it belongs here and not just placed here. And then again, repeating the same patterns with all of the colors so it really looks like it was placed here at the very beginning. Once all of my acrylic mediums have had a chance to dry really well, I seal over the top of everything again with the gel medium. Not sure if you have a chance to see that in video or not, but I do want to make sure everything is really good and dry before I come back with my gel pen. If you are having a hard time with your gel pens coloring over the top of your journal pages, just give your acrylic paints a chance to dry and your gel mediums a chance to dry. Typically the reason that they don't draw very well over the top is because the mediums that you've used prior to are just not dry enough yet for them to draw over. I even recommend letting them cure overnight, giving them a chance to really dry very well before you do your hand lettering or doodling. So I'm just going to trace across some of these elements and really bring out the compass elements and really focus back on the N for north and have my compasses really pointing north and really drawing attention to the word N here for north, and then go back and trace over all of my words to draw focus back to Yvonne's stamps now that I've cut them apart. So here is the final view of some of the close-ups, and then you can see in some of these close-ups the details of the waves and the splatters, and then you can also see the details of the map peekabooing out from below. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me during this process video today. Don't forget to check out that blog post that's linked up in the description box down below. If you press the show more button, you can see all of the details. Don't forget that if you do try some of the techniques that I shared with you today, hashtag following Tonya Gibbs. If you've enjoyed this production, give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment, and don't forget to share this with a friend.